Hello friends, this is Hatim Rampurawala, and in this video we will revise essay 260 revise communication with the TCWG. Okay, so this has been divided into four parts basically: meaning of the management and the TCWG, then the auditor's responsibility, then communication process, and the last is factor affecting the mode of the communication. So we'll first see the meaning of the management and the TCWG. So TCWG is the person is the person with the responsibility for overseeing the strategic directions and obligation related to the accountability. And so over here in TCWG, two words are important. That is, he is a person with the responsibility for overseeing the direction, and second is obligation, and an person with an obligation related to the accountability. And the management means who are involved in the day-to-day entities operation, who have basically executive responsibility. That is the person with an executive responsibility for the conduct of the entities operation. Now auditor whom communication is to be made. So auditor will first determine who are the appropriate person to whom the communication. Now first point, determine the need to communicate with the one body. If communicates with the subgroup, first we'll determine we have to determine that the need to communicate with the governing body. If there are subgroups, the auditor can also communicate to the subgroup. If all the TCWG, second point, if all the TCWG are involved in managing the entity and the matter has been communicated with the person having the managerial responsibility, the matter need not be communicated again with the same person in their governing role. So if a matter has been communicated to the one person, managerial responsibility person, then to the same level of auditor is not required to communicate to the same level of the authority and another person with the same level. Okay, then matters to be communicated. First is auditor's responsibility is related. Auditor first matter to be communicated. Auditor's responsibility in related to the financial statement financial statement audit. Then second, planned scope and timing of an audit. Third, significant findings from the audit with respect to the accounting policy, accounting estimates, financial statement disclosure. Significant difficulties encountered during the audit. Example of the significant difficulties is significant delay in providing the info. First is significant delay in providing info, unnecessary brief time within which to complete an audit, extensive unexpected efforts required to obtain the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, unavailability of the expected information. So the information which they have asked, basically there isn't the same information isn't provided. There is unavailability of the expected information. Then restriction imposed by the last 2 points are basically restriction, that is restriction imposed by the management. Then scope limitation imposed by the management. So again we'll quickly revise the example of the significant difficulty, because since it forms an important part of the essay. There is significant delay in providing the info, unnecessary brief time within which to complete an audit, an extensive unexpected effort required to complete an audit, to obtain extensive unexpected effort required to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, unavailability of the expected information, restriction imposed by the management, significant the last is scope limitation imposed by the management. Then the other matters to be communicated, that is other significant matters, material weaknesses in the internal control, then matters discussed with the management. So the matter one which are discussed with the management, that will communicate to the TCWG. Other significant matters or matter related to the internal control, material weaknesses in the internal control. And the last point we need to be which forms the matter to be communicated to the which forms the matter to be communicated with the TCWG is the statement with compliance with the ethical requirement regarding the independence. So fourth thing we need to communicate, that is auditor's responsibility. Second, planned scope and timing of an audit. Third, significant findings from the audit, significant findings which contain all these detailed accounting policy, accounting estimates, financial statement disclosure. Significant difficulties encountered during the audit. Example of the significant difficulties we have seen, that is significant delay in providing the info, unnecessary brief time to complete an audit, extensive unexpected efforts required to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, unavailability of the expected information, restriction imposed and all. And the last point is statement with respect to the compliance with ethical requirement regarding the independence. Then the next part is communication process. Be oral, written, detailed, summarized, structured, unstructured. If audio, basically he should obtain the written communication where the oral is not adequate, that is auditor should that is the communication should be in the written when the oral communication is not adequate. And the last point, communication should be on the timely basis. Okay, Then evaluate the adequacy of the communication for the purpose of an audit. We should see the adequacy, that whether that communication which we had communication made to the management is adequate for the purpose of an audit. If it is not adequate, evaluate its effect on the auditor's assessment of the risk of material misstatement. Okay, and the last concept is factors affecting the mode of the communication. So there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 factors. Will read one: structure, control environment, and the legal structure of an entity. Second, in case of an audit of the special purpose financial statement, whether the auditor also audits the entity's general purpose financial statement, requirement of the respective law specifying the entity's communication with the TCWG in the prescribed form, expectation of the TCWG including the. So third was requirement of the respective law specifying the written communication with the TCWG in the prescribed form. Fourth, expectation of the TCWG including the arrangement made for the periodic meetings or the communication with the auditor. Fourth, the amount of the ongoing contract and the dialogue with the auditor has with the TCWG, and the significant changes in the membership of the governing body. Significant changes in the membership. So if there is a significant change in management in the governing body, significant changes in the membership of the governing body, there is also a factors affecting the mode of the communication. So first is operating size, structure, control environment, and legal structure of an entity. Then in case of an audit of the special purpose financial statement, auditor should also audit the entity's general purpose financial statement. Requirement of the respective law specifying the written communication with the TCWG in the prescribed form. Expectations of the TCWG including the arrangement made, periodic meetings, communication with the auditor, the amount of an ongoing contracts and the dialogue the auditor has with the TCWG, and the significant changes in the governing body, significant changes in the membership, basically the membership of the governing body. So with this we are completed with essay 260. Thank you for watching the video.